Hey kids, it's Mike.
And Katie. And it is episode 72 this week. This week we dove back into Disney Plus.
RADnesia!
This week on Cup of Rad.
Hey everybody, so this week, like most of you in the great big beautiful world, we're all doing things from home and with no new movies and not a lot of new television available for watching, and family all being home because it's an extended spring break feeling, even though it's still spring break up here technically, but
it's only been 2 weeks.
It's only been 2 weeks. We thought we would dive into a few things that are a bit more on the whole RADnesia side of things.
Well, yeah, it's been fun taking advantage of kiddo being off too, and kind of a weird schedule, like weird freedom, because we don't have places to go and schedules to keep for things other than basics for work and school. And
yeah, and this last week it was a bit of an easier module finish off. There was no exams, so I had some extra time.
Weird extra time.
Right. So we took advantage of it. And we thought, we'd, instead of pilfering through our DVD collection, we would look at some more of the streaming service, because then we can recommend things to you because you're at home, you're listening to us in your sweet, sweet ears. And you're sitting there going, man, how can I entertain kiddo but not have them watch the trash that they're trying to watch? So I figured what we would do is we'd delve into a few things here and there that would help you all navigate some things that we enjoyed or things that we rewatched because we're like, well, what's this? And a few things that I want to mention with Disney Plus, they have National Geographic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great documentaries on there. They also have the Disney nature stuff too. So that's a great tool to help kids feel like they're lounging, but they're still learning. So me and kiddo this last week, we checked out Into the Canyon, which was a documentary about two gentlemen that decided to walk the length of the canyon.
That's really cool.
We didn't realize it was that. We thought it was about the Grand Canyon. So we were a little disappointed.
The Grand Canyon.
And it was two guys that had never really hiked too much before, so they were completely ill prepared, and then they had to go back and blah 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 drama. So yeah, right. But there was some beautiful cinematography and all that in it. And the one thing that was interesting though was there's a section of the canyon where there's one of the most plentiful places to find water, but because of the industrializing of it and the mining, it is full of uranium.
That's really sad.
Because they were mining for uranium, which then is all radioactive, so you can't drink it. So they got to that point where they're like thirsty and they don't know what to do, and they, so thought that was kind of an interesting takeaway.
Now they're glowing.
Right. And you find out how much more there's places that want to, make it more and more and more like a tourist trap. Mm-hmm. And less and less and less about nature, which is really sad, because when you watch the photography and the all that's in the documentary, it's just really pretty to look at, and it'd be sad to see that get destroyed.
Yeah,
just by needing that industry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the other one we checked out was Wild Yellowstone, and that one was in two parts. It was winter and summer. And what was interesting about that was it was all more based on the animal life in Yellowstone.
That's really cool. Well, kiddo, I know, was really excited about it.
He was much more interested in that one. So that's why we found Wild Russia, and that's going to be this week.
Nice.
Maybe when we have lunch or something like that, we'll throw that on. But the thing that was interesting is like how the cinematography of just the animals running into each other and the concussion
oh yeah, because there was the bighorn sheep, you said, right?
And just watching them like billow from every single hit.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's amazing what their bodies are built like that to sustain that much.
Yeah.
Force while not killing them. I mean, we would never be able to do that.
No, and it's a terrible mating ritual.
Right?
Hey, I'm just going to go just start ramming the crap out of everyone around me just to get a chance to hit that. Like, they look painful.
Well, kiddo was like, well, that's like okay, so that's what that is, a mating ritual. But then what do people do? And he's like, oh, so like kissing is like that. Yeah, that seems a lot nicer than ramming their heads together.
Right. So we hit a few of those, and there's lots more on there. And Disney is also bringing out some new ones, an elephant and a dolphin one.
Yeah, I'm excited about those.
Starting in April there.
So I remember we used to go and watch all of them when they came out in theaters there. So I really like the Disney nature ones.
So I'm looking forward to that. So that's something for you all to check out for sure. Because not only do they have their quite the extensive library of all their Disney afternoon, but then there's also some of the old movies, and that's where we're gonna go now.
Yeah,
is into those.
There we go.
So I showed Kiddo a bunch of trailers and like clips and stuff like that, and he wasn't really biting, as we said last week. Yeah. So this week we decided to just say, well, you're going to watch what we're going to put on, or you go to bed.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it worked out a lot better.
And it's amazing how fast she's like, oh, cool, I'm going to sit down. So the first one we decided to check out because, as I said last week, spring break isn't spring break, and summer break isn't summer break without a John Candy movie.
Yes.
So what did we find on Disney Plus?
We decided to sit down and watch Cool Runnings.
That's right. Cool Runnings came out in 1993, directed by John Turteltaub. He also did the National Treasure series, starring John Candy, Dougie Doug. And it is all about...
It is about a Jamaican bobsled team.
The Jamaican bobsled team.
So it's a very, very loose account of an actual
very
event.
Fictionalized.
But it's super fictionalized, but it's still the concept of there was a Jamaican bobsled team for the, 88 Olympics?
Yeah.
In Calgary there. So, yeah.
So you get to see, these Jamaicans training. They're supposed to be long distance, the runners and all that. And John Candy plays a old bobsled.
It was so heartbreaking when they lose because they're testing, they're qualifying for the Olympics and they're running, right? And they trip and it takes one guy's trip takes three of them out.
Yep.
And it was just devastating to see because that one thing now all of a sudden his hopes and dreams are gone. And it was just, oh my gosh. So John Candy is a prior 16 years ago. He was 2 times gold medalist in the Olympics.
Yep.
And he had always dreamed of training a sprinter basically to
be a bobsled.
And it's that exciting journey.
So it's the ragtag team coming together from different backgrounds. All 3 of the ones that got into the accident are now working together. And it's just fun. It has a lot of good humor in it.
Yeah.
And being that even though it was from 1993, which later on I'm going to talk about how amazing 1993 was as a year for movies. I almost feel like we should just do an entire episode just around 1993.
Oh, there you go.
Because it has so many movies.
Apparently he's going to talk about it right now, not later on.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to do it right now. 1993 was amazing.
Everything wonderful happened then.
There's a lot of good things that came out in 93. Look it up. Music, TV shows, it totally dates how old we are. But
we didn't know how good it was at the time, though.
We didn't know how good we had it.
Right?
Till it was gone. Sound old.
You look back and you're like, oh, when was that from? Oh, 93. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Okay.
Animaniacs.
Oh, there you go. Power Rangers.
Right?
Right. Yep.
1993, Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Schindler's List. Boom. Anyways... But even though it's from 93, sometimes you can watch some older movies. You'll be like, wow, this really does feel dated. Just even with some of the dialogue and the context, especially because of the world that we're in with the more like the sensitivities and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I never noticed anything in my mind that was like,
yeah, you're
wow,
right.
Like
this feels like shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, right. Because mainly it comes down to sexual content, right?
Yeah.
Sexual jokes and all that.
Yeah.
But there was actually there was a couple things said that I was like, this was a Disney movie in 93 for PG,
right?
Like there was a few questionable jokes here and there with the language, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is definitely an uplifting story about just trying.
Yeah.
And pushing.
Well, it's about being yourself as well.
Yeah.
Not trying to bend to what someone else.
You dead, Mom?
to be something that is still true to you.
Yeah.
And making sure that I liked even the concept of, you can push to want to achieve something, but if you make that achievement the only thing in your life, it's not going to be fulfilling anymore. And I thought that was a good concept that needs to be part of your fulfillment.
Yeah.
And
not just
that, because then you start making bad decisions in order to get that fulfillment made. And I thought that was a really good message there of blending that, right? So yeah, I was,
was this a RADnesia for you, or was this was
what I thought I had seen it, but then I really don't remember it. So if I had seen it, it's completely gone. So this wasn't I'm just gonna call it as a new movie.
So this is really Mike's Disney Plus RADnesia.
Yeah. Our last movie we watched was a RADnesia for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Kiddo really liked it. He thought it was really fun, which was awesome. He was laughing at it, and which was good to see, because it wasn't like, oh, dude, what did you guys make me watch? He was like full on invested. Like at one point, he had like this blanket up to his face, and
he was worried, and he was very excited to see them, succeed, and when they did succeed and those types of things. So
yeah. So on Disney Plus, Cool Runnings, and with John Candy. I mean, like,
yeah, it's fantastic.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah. What's funny on a personal level, we have I was looking for a place a year or so back to take Kiddo to cut his haircut, and I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna look around and see what salons are here, right? We actually have a hair studio called
because you were looking at a place that would also take reservations.
Walk-ins? Appointments, yeah.
Everyone takes walk-ins.
Yeah, I needed a place that took appointments that could do a barbershop aspect, right? Well, I found this place we have called Cool Runnings, and I immediately just on that.
We're like, I'm
calling them. So, lady was really nice. She actually is from Jamaica.
Yeah,
and so you walk in and there's literally reggae music. She specializes in more hairstyles from their ethnic hair, all that type of stuff, and she is just the nicest lady, and it's been a great place. And so then I tell Kiddo, I was like, yeah, by the way, this is where your hair studio is, the name of it's from. He just thought that was the coolest thing, right? So there we go. Thought it was kind of funny.
Okay, so we started looking around, and then we were like, well, should we just do an entire John Candy episode? And then we realized he wasn't in that many movies that were from Disney, which led us to then find that Disney Plus has a lot of Fox movies on there, which then we found that John Candy with being in Splash, and we decided, well, maybe we'll watch Splash with Tom Hanks. But then we're like, well, there might be a little too much romance for Kiddo. So we're looking, well, if Splash is on there, shouldn't Big be on there? In Canada, Big is not on there. I don't know if it's in the States or anywhere else, but we did find Big streaming. So this is a little veer away from the Disney Plus.
But it was still free streaming.
So most likely you can find it on something.
Yeah.
Because I say it was available for free streaming on our cable box. So Big with Tom Hanks from 1988, directed by Penny Marshall.
Now, I have seen this movie a million times.
This is a full RADnesia for everyone.
Yes, very much so. And
so Big, what's it about?
So it is about a 13-year-old boy who is tired of being small. He's tired of being the little kid still, and he finds this weird fair Zoltar wish machine, basically, right? And he makes this wish, and apparently it is he wants to be big. And because someone told him, that's what he wishes he was big. Yeah. And this thing grants his wish then. So
instead of being like, this shows you when you make wishes, you need full on like details. Like you need to baffle it with bullshit to make sure that, you just specific. Said big. He needed to say, I want to be taller.
Yeah.
He said, I want to be big. And then he became an adult.
You know what? Then it would have been older. That was also, what big is a very wide range. I mean, he could have just gotten fat too. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of gray area in that wish.
That's true.
So he didn't get a really bad, turnout for it.
Yeah. But kids, make sure those wishes are very to the line, like legal documents.
And he wakes up the next morning and he is like 30-year-old. But he's got, of course, it's still mind frame. He's just in a 30-year-old's body.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it was funny because he sneaks out, then he tries to come back and tries to tell his mom, but obviously she doesn't believe him. Totally freaks out. I would freak out too. And so then he takes off and he goes off to the city with his friend and trying to figure things out, right?
All the chaos and being in the big city with the gunshots and the
what a
screams
horrible,
and the
like that one still felt like current, right? You're like, yep, it would still be like that. It is not.
oh yeah,
gotten any better.
exactly.
It's gotten
like,
worse. Probably.
It's like yep.
That's still there.
Yep. He wouldn't be able to have gotten a place for $40.
No, that's not. It would have been a $200 a night hotel still.
Right. Even that CD.
But I like the message in there of him just, looking at things from a simpler point of view and a fun aspect of things, and the concept that as adults we forget how to question things, think of it without an angle or a motive of some sort, just to enjoy life and have fun, right?
And that's what Kiddo had said. His favorite part of it was the scene, the meeting where he works his way up through this toy company. And he's in this meeting. The guy's like, trying to sell everyone. Well, everyone has transformers and these kind of things. Well, we've now have these buildings that transform. And he's like, I don't get it. I don't get why is a building fun, right? But building is not fun. Well, it's big. It should be fun. It's like, no, like a bug is fun.
Yeah.
Right. And Kiddo was like, that was a cool scene to show that how adults don't necessarily get it.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think that still is going on in the world.
Oh yeah.
With toys, you're like, you look at yours, you're like, really? Who thought that this was okay?
When you look at collector lines are doing fantastic. But when you look at like the main bread and butter lines, in a lot of cases, you're like,
really?
Who said this was okay? Like
more toy designers need to watch the movie Big, and realize that
without just the nostalgia of Zoltar. Everyone just remembers Zoltar, and they're like, "Yes, I got that Papa Zoltar." So.
Well, and I love it. The old man from the company finds him playing in this toy store, and he's just playing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, aren't you here with your kids? Type thing. Well, no, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
And I think more people, if you could find someone like that to work at a toy company, I think, and have someone actually respect and listen to their ideas, then it'll be better, right?
Right.
And then they get too caught up in, rightfully so. If you're going to make toys, you do have to pay attention to the money and the marketing and everything like that. But you get too caught up into it, and then you forget the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I liked that. Now, one thing that I did forget about when we were watching all of this was actually how much romance there really was in there.
Yeah, but it is also only a PG movie.
Yeah, I know.
There is an F-bomb in a PG movie.
How was that with Kiddo, watching him for the first time get to, go for it. Second base there. He
was like blushing. You went to like cover his face and he pushed it away.
He was so bright red, it was hilarious.
And he's like watching as Tom Hanks cups her breasts.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah. He had the whole like, yeah, get it moment, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But one of his things too was he was really disappointed at the end when he goes back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, you should have stayed an adult. You had a girlfriend and you had an amazing job.
Well, and he was really sad that he lost out on his cool place to live. He's like, why? That place was awesome. Why did he give it up? Mm-hmm. So what did we decide? That, yeah, it was horribly disappointing that he should have just stayed where he was, because he got a great job, didn't have to pay for the college.
Yeah, right? Like, you think of that kind of stuff,
he had it made.
Yeah, he fell in the right place at the right time. And, like, you think about that now as an adult.
He was, like, a high up in this company.
Yeah, like VP of product, right. And he was starting to pitch toys. You're like, dude, you totally should have stayed. I'm sorry, but that's that moment where you're just like, no, you made a mistake going back.
Right.
Like, maybe that's the whole idea with the Zoltar thing. It was like the curse almost, right? Like you do something, you ended up helping him get something so good.
And he's never gonna find that. So we need Big 2, reality.
We need Big 2 when he's like a tire salesman in a dead end job with 6 kids and can't pay rent.
He remembers all of
and
this.
has his whole
Damn
break.
you, Zoltar!
And he goes on the road trip. It's like Forrest Gump or Pee-wee's Big Adventure while he's trying to find this thing as everything around him's crumbling because
he's trying to find Zoltar desperately. And I need something to time travel in, man.
Right? Because we're just like, I was watching it. I was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't go back. I'm sorry, no. That was too choice. But, definitely, Kiddo enjoyed it too. So we scored 2 for 2. We had good laughs. We had good fun.
It has a really good message either way, whatever way you look at it. It also is on a positive thing for him being a kid, though. Of course, the message is that you shouldn't be too much in a rush to grow up, right?
Yeah.
But the issue as adults, you look back at it and you're like, he painted it as a pretty sweet life. It seemed like it was difficult to begin with, and obviously it was, but they didn't really end it on something difficult. So if he had been struggling, it would have been different.
Yeah, exactly. They think, I want to go back, but no college debt,
right, like all these things you see as an adult, you're like, oh, dude. And but it had a good message about being appreciative of just being
of who you are,
of the freedom that you have, and the lack of responsibilities as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So there.
Because by the end, he became more responsible, and his friend was noticing that he wasn't the same person.
Yeah, exactly. He was turning into an adult, right? And so then that whole curse there was starting to hit itself, and he wasn't being. He would have faltered because he didn't have that same carefree.
The weight of deadlines and all that, right?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have that naivety of looking at something like with innocence, right?
Yeah.
So. What happens? You have sex and then everything goes downhill from there.
Apparently, yeah, that's what it was.
That was the turning point. It made him an adult because he started wearing the suit. He started going to all the parties. It was a relationship thing. So that's what made him into an adult.
Wow. And think about...
So don't have sex too early is the message to children. I've just figured it out.
There you go. There you go. That's
there you go.
And think about that
philosophy with cup of rat.
That moment though, thinking that he was 13 years old and technically, and he was like, he would have been the only one in his class, and be like, yeah,
he's gonna be the best sought after man ever growing up because he's like super in
the know.
Yep.
See, and that's why Big 2, he's gonna have like 6 kids.
Oh yeah.
Find out that he's a deviant.
Yeah. Okay.
We haven't seen Tom Hanks play someone strung out and not down their luck, so why not?
That is true.
He needs to challenge his career now. So we move back to Disney Plus and we flip it around, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to watch The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
So The Rocketeer is what I threw on for our next movie night. Directed by Joe Johnson in 1991. Joe Johnson went on to direct Captain America: The First Avenger. So you can see the similarities there.
Yes.
Stars Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, and Alan Arkin, and Timothy Dalton.
So this one I had never seen before.
So it's just a Mike's RADnesia all by himself and lonely in the corner.
And I am so sad that I hadn't seen that movie. I really loved it.
It was really good because it's based on old comics and all that, the pulp fiction idea.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is cute. It was like, wow, I really liked it.
I like how that's with the title, The Rocketeer. You're like, oh, that was cute. That was nice.
No, you know what? I didn't know what to expect from it. You've talked so fondly about it for years. And
you're right. Nazis involved that get a beating, so.
I know. How could it not be right?
Right.
Awesome. No, I was blown away by actually how much I enjoyed this movie. I was just like, wow, this is really awesome.
Because it was right in the time frame too, where studios were finding they could do PG movies that were a little more edgy, and even PG-13 that weren't as kidified, especially with Batman and all those kind of hitting and all that. And the pulp hero was big, right?
Yeah.
Around the same time too, Dick Tracy had come out, which I'm still trying to find.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why it's not on Disney Plus.
That is weird.
That one there, I really think they should put on there because it was a financial hit. It just was not a critical hit, and it's one of those ones where I'd love to watch again to see what it was because I had fond memories of it. So that's something that's gonna have to hit on one of our next episodes at some point to show you guys that one. But it's the pulp hero. They find he's a pilot that finds a rocket engine that's been stored in his hangar because it was stolen from the FBI, and they were supposed to be these rockets that were going to help with the war, turn the war. Yeah. But at the same time, the Nazis are looking for the same thing because they want that technology to be able to use jetpacks to
take
fight.
over the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you find out that that there's...
Well, he gets in this crash with his airplane, and he wants to basically use because of all of this takedown, and he wants to use it just once to try to get a little bit of money back because they're in the hole with the plane being scrapped. And so it's the try it on and make some improvements for it. And then it's this fascinating phenomenon for everyone. Yep. But then of course it paints a target on his back, right? So it is the hunt to find him. Mm-hmm. So, and then you got the FBI involved, you got Howard Hughes involved, the mafia, and you got the Nazis. It's great.
It's good pulp action.
So good,
right?
Like I really liked it. It didn't even feel like an old movie.
Yeah,
honestly,
it held up really good. Actually,
yeah.
It was one of those ones where it's really fun to watch. It's really sad, though, that it was like something that never really took off as like a franchise. And I'm surprised it hasn't been rebooted yet. I know Disney on Disney Junior is doing a Rocketeer cartoon, but it's based on like the now almost. And a girl finds the rocket now. So I've heard good things about it, but it's the rocket's pink or purple now.
Of course.
So I just don't know. It'd be nice to see them kind of tackle it because I know some companies have made comics over the last few years, so it's still being made as comics currently. But it's just a fun kind of thing. Like it's
and Kiddo really liked it.
Yeah. He had a blast with it, and it's funny, Yeah, it's the fun action, right?
Well, yeah, it was not over dramatic, There was really good action, and yeah,
There's only one scene that is a little bit more ridiculous is when he like hops on the back of the truck and fires up the rocket because it's all sped up.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic, but it's the one scene that dates it a little bit because it was all sped up, right?
Yeah,
and had that whole like holding onto the steering wheel, right? But that is on Disney Plus.
Yes.
So and Katie's first watch, she gives it a good thumbs up.
Yeah, like totally blown out of the water. Like I'm over the moon about it actually. So like way more than I expected to enjoy it. So
there you go. Check out the Rocketeer. So we're 3 for 3 this week. Unlike the last 2 weeks where we had disappointment.
This is why we had such a good week, man.
Right? Apparently.
It was so much better this week than it was the week before.
We had a lot more fun with our movies. Our movies were not disappointing.
Yeah.
So that's why we're wanting to share those with you. So we're at Cool Runnings, Big, and Rocketeer. All find them if you need some family entertainment.
Yes. Well, we have one more here.
We have one more. Yeah.
Also on Disney Plus.
Also on Disney Plus. This one came out in 1995.
Yeah. So I went on there and it was like, you know what? This is on our watch list. We're going to watch this. Not even going to think about it too much. This seems like it kind of fits in our theme of things. And it was Tall Tales.
Tall Tale, yeah. Directed by Jeremiah Chekic. Now, I didn't really know what he had directed, so I looked it up. And one of his big ones that he directed was actually National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
So, Tall Tale stars Patrick Swayze as
Pecos Bill.
It has Oliver Platt as
Paul Bunyan.
And Roger Aaron Brown as John Henry Irons.
John Henry. I totally spaced. So yeah, I mean, being from Nevada, grew up like hardcore on Tall Tales here. Like, oh goodness, right? Like it was like a normal everyday thing for me, and I wasn't quite sure because like Mike never really he knew about them.
I knew about them through Disney.
Yeah, there you go. Probably from Tall Tales.
No, from the animation stuff.
No, I know, right? But Kiddo had learned about them bits and pieces before, and but this was kind of fun because it was something still new for him, right? So it was a nice adventure. It was all back in the early 1900s there, and about the railroad development and the usual issue of
the land barons coming in to steal land,
right? And
by force.
It's going to take the deeds, and it's this kid who, his dad stands up to the bad guy there, and
Nick Strahl. Yeah, we found out he was in T3 and most currently Lock and Key on Netflix.
Oh yeah, there you go. And so his dad stands up to the bad guy and says no. Well, he gets shot, and so the kid is all upset and he runs away, and then it turns into this whole adventure where he meets these 3 legends, right?
I realized
his dad had already told him about them, right?
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
it's
very much
an
so.
American Wizard of Oz, like.
Yeah, so it's an imaginative. He ends up being asleep, of course, but he imagines this adventure and he learns something, and these 3 characters give him strength, right? And I thought it was interesting because it grew up not even questioning the concept of learning about tall tales and legends of inspiration. Mm-hmm. And it's odd that isn't something that like Kiddo is not instilled with. Like there's nothing new that's showing up, or these are fading into nothingness.
Yeah.
And we have urban legends, and they're always terrifying, or
because those are more like a Grimm's fairy tale, like
Yeah.
stay away from Pop Rocks and Coke,
right? Like they're more of like scary things,
Yeah.
or
the Hook Man.
stuff like that. And there is no inspirational tall tale legend of some inspiring power, and to provide us that drive and that courage and the ability to stand up and keep working hard. And like for these guys, it was taking care of the land and those types of stuff, right? And
I guess you got to think though, Pecos Bill was known in the movie for shooting off trigger fingers, so you can't really do that now.
that is true.
So yeah,
Specifically trigger fingers there. So,
but no, I know what you mean. Like even our heroes that we write, our fictional heroes that are made to be built up, they're become so grim and dark and flawed and problematic that even Spider-Man isn't really seen as this bright shining symbol.
Yeah.
Superman isn't seen as
we
a bright,
tear all
shining
of our
symbol.
heroes down.
Yeah, we've gone to that cynical age, right? And what I had mentioned to you was I think it really comes down to the idea that through the 80s and 90s, the media was portraying the family, the nuclear family, as being this bright and shiny thing, but it really wasn't. And so those kids have all grown up and they're all like, no, that wasn't what it was like. This is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's now projected in our media, right, of how cynical and sarcastic and mean and lonely it is.
Yeah.
Right. And
it is a sad state to reflection.
Right.
There.
To see that, of like, that's what it's like. So I'm curious to see as time goes on, because I don't think it'll get better. I think it'll just get darker and darker.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because even the kid, when we look at kid movies where they have more of those bonds for friendships and everything like that. But then if you have people making movies that didn't ever experience those in real life, they just saw them in the movies and were like, well, I didn't experience that. And they show that continuation.
Well, you look at most of the movies that we watched too, anything that had any parental interactions, they were all regarded well.
Yeah.
Right. And seen
there was respect shown
respect
and everything.
And all that. Right.
Yeah.
But now when you look at kids' movies, parents are dumber than stumps.
Yeah.
And, dads are always portrayed as tools.
Yeah.
And, moms are always uptight.
Yeah.
So it shows.
Yeah. There's very distant. The kid, there's lots of attitude between them.
Yeah.
And
it's like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
The Simpsons actually showed us what life really was like.
Yeah.
And we pretended to ignore it. And then when we got to it, we're like, oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It is really like that.
So I really enjoyed the movie. Kiddo was like super involved with it.
Oh, yeah. He loved it.
He was on the edge of his seat, like yelling at him to take out the bad guy. Like, it was interesting because he was really invested in this. And he was just like, don't hesitate, like get this done with. And it was, he really enjoyed it. He liked
Paul Bunyan the best because he loves the idea of being more in tune to nature.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, he very much liked that he was about living off the land and not taking more than it can regrow. And I thought that was a really cool message in it. That, he is complaining about industry, the fact that they are taking down all the trees, doesn't matter what size they are. Well, that doesn't help because how is anything new going to grow? How are you going to have that forest 10 years from now? Yeah. And all these were...
A movie that was talking about that in 1995.
Right? Like you can have a forest still growing. And for him, of course, he was saying that he created logging. Well, he created all of this industry, the concept of it, but you have to have that balance within nature, and you can't just go in and just cut everything down. And so the concept of hard work that humanity can provide, not just the machines, and having the loyalty and the willingness to stand up for one another. And so really good core concepts for things for sure. And they won out in the end, right?
Yeah.
So
it had some goofy moments. It definitely was more the dated out of all the ones we watched.
Yeah.
You can see that, especially because of the effects and stuff that was in there. But it is a silly, fun movie.
Yeah.
It does have a great message behind it, and it's something that, I think it's good for kids to see.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, there was a few other big names in the movie. There was Scott Glenn, Stephen Lang, Jared Harris, and Catherine O'Hara. So it was like pretty...
William H. Macy was
William H. Macy too, yeah.
He was uncredited.
Yeah, so it's like there was a decent amount of people in that you just kept popping up, and you're like, hey, that guy.
I know that guy.
Right? Like, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. But so there you go. We actually had a really successful week of movies.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Definitely Tall Tale is something that's kind of fun to check out because it is kind of silly, especially when you're trying to show your kids something, right?
Yeah,
because
it was good adventure.
There's lots on there. There's lots on all the streaming services out there to find, and it's a matter of just siphoning through them and finding what is interesting to you and them. And I think it's a good time to, because we're all home, to take that extra time to really, if we're gonna watch stuff, to purposely watch and find things, because in all of them we were able to have discussions with kiddo after, and we talked about every movie and the idea of like the theme and all that of it, to see what he thought, and then maybe it was like, well, okay, this is what we saw too. And I think those discussions are what can be good tools when we are at home, because you don't want to just mindlessly devour this stuff and not have any real understanding of anything. You take it as a time to teach. You're sitting there having fun, and you get a moment to kind of have some teaching, right?
Any movie can have some sort of message, or a reflection of history, or something that you can talk about for it. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour philosophical deep conversation about something, but help him think and try to really pull out the story and the concepts for things. And comprehension is a big thing that I think you can't really teach that. You have to just experience it and take advantage of that.
Well, it's good.
Then what they're actually trying to learn, opposed to someone else trying to tell them their thoughts, right?
And not having someone tell you what the thought is. This is what we thought of it.
Yeah.
Well, no one's thought is necessarily wrong.
No.
It's just a matter of what they saw, and then having that discussion of what you see and they see. And
we can learn something about your kids or people around you. Like with him, we realize how much he really heard the message about the in tune with nature, because we know that really matters to him, and that makes me happy to hear how much he has learned about that, and that a lot of it has come from school, learning about that cultural aspect around the Aboriginals, more with the Aboriginals, right? And that really resonates with him.
Yeah. So it's definitely a good time to find different ways for learning, especially if schools are canceled.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't have a curriculum and you yourself have to work and all that. But find different ways to inspire them with things that still seem fun. Yeah. And that's kind of what we were trying to do with this last week, even though he was still technically on a spring break. This week he starts back at home.
And then we're going to go math and reading and writing.
But we were looking at things and we're like, in reality, you're only going to be doing about 2.5 hours worth of actual work.
Well, there's only so much that we can actually enforce, right? I mean,
but so it'll be nice and easy and fun. And maybe we'll be able to crack open some more movies that we can kind of have discussions around. We've been looking at a few series. We talked about possibly going through Indiana Jones again, or the Lord of the Rings, or the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. So there's a lots there, and you want to do the Matrix. So we're definitely going to keep coming at you with, with RADnesia, basically.
Yeah, our loose schedule for stuff. It's like, we keep talking about all these ones we want to watch again, and now we actually have the time because we don't have new movies that we're planning for things. So
no new TV, nothing. So it'll be a lot of RADnesia. It's like spring break lasting forever, because every spring break we do RADnesia, and this is endless spring break RADnesia until it becomes summer break, and it's endless summer break RADnesia.
Yeah, because pretty soon you won't even have school. So
I've only got 4 weeks of school, and then I don't know what's happening. So, so I might be done in 4 weeks until September. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so then it'll be full on,
endless spring,
binge watching. Disney Plus will be my jam, yo. Well, I'll be in pajamas and.
So I'll make sure both of you get dressed every day.
Unacceptable. Pants are not a lifestyle choice anymore.
Well, I saw Stephen Colbert had tweeted, he's like, the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be to go back to a life where pants are required.
Right?
And I was like, I think a lot of people are going to feel that way.
I think it should just be the new norm. Everyone just Winnie the Pooh's it or Donald Duck's it. For you in business, it's got to be Donald Duck, because you got to look fancy up top.
Yeah, a little bit fancy.
Yeah, for everybody else, it's pretty much just Winnie Pooh just throwing on a little shirt and just... I think that should be the new thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just freeball it out there. Wow. Hey, world, this is me now.
You know what? We're going to go... this is taking us way back, and, maybe we need to restart again, right? So caveman it up.
Caveman it up. Just go around bonking people on the heads. Money.
Oh, this got weird. Okay.
Why not?
I know.
You gotta laugh, right?
You know what? That's all we have right now.
Well, hopefully you're all staying safe out there.
Yep.
And hopefully you'll come back next week. Thank you to all our new listeners and all our existing listeners. We love you. We're here because of you. Stay rad.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!